Yo, 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 college football fans, Clemson Tiger fans, welcome into another episode of the Clemson Tigers pregame show on the Voice of College Football Clemson channel. I'm your host, Tiger Paul Craven. I will be joined momentarily by my co-host, Smitty, Jordan Bowman, and DeAndre. We will get into all things Clemson football this week, including La Tech. It is La Tech week, fellas. It is La Tech week, ladies and gentlemen, and we cannot wait to get into some Clemson Tigers football. But before we get into that, please like, share, and subscribe to videos. It really helps out the channel. It really helps out Mark Rogers. It really helps out my co-host here. And we are trying to do our best to bring the absolute most elite Clemson content we can to you. So without further ado, I will bring on my co-host here. I have Jordan Bowman in the house. I got Smitty in the house. And I got DeAndre in the house. Go ahead, Jordan. Introduce yourself to the audience. I'm sure they all know you. Smitty, you do the same. DeAndre, you can do the same. Just for any new viewers that have not seen you guys yet. Again, my name's Tiger Paul Craven. I do have a YouTube channel here on YouTube. I got a couple videos up, but around the horn to my co-host.
Yeah, what's up, guys? I'm Jordan. I do along with this show. I am also. You can also find me on D4 Sports. I do a show with him. I'm sure if you guys are familiar with the Texas channel on the Voice of College Football, he does a lot of the live Texas content. Well, we do a show together on his channel called College Football Across America. We go live every Wednesday at 8 p.m. So make sure you guys check that out. You can also find me on the main Mark Rogers channel. I show up I call in sometimes, and I'm also a part of the College Football After Dark show that we do on Sunday nights. So make sure to check that out as well. And thank you guys for being here. I hope you guys are excited, and let's talk some Clemson football.
Thanks, Jordan. Go ahead, Smitty.
Smitticus. This is all I got, guys. I enjoy and love Clemson football to my core, so I enjoy giving the fan perspective, and we'll see where it goes. You can find me anywhere and everywhere. Ask me, Xbox Live, PlayStation Network, TikTok, Facebook. As far as I'm aware, I'm the only Smitticus.
You are the only Smitticus, and for those fans out there that don't know, Smitty is my best friend in the entire world. It's my boy. We served together in the military. He is absolutely one of the best people on this planet. He does not have a YouTube platform yet, but I suspect in the future he'll be coming out with some stuff, and I know you guys will be watching. DeAndre, go ahead and give him what you got, brother.
Well, y'all know I'm DeAndre Crawford, Black and Gold, Purple and Orange Football, BGLPO, Black BGLPO Football Funk, represent Pittsburgh Steelers, Clemson Tigers, East Carolina University, historically Black college football. Just love football. I'm a big Tigers fan since I was a kid. So,
Go Pirates, by the way. That's where my mom went. So
great school.
Yeah.
Hey, if anybody know anything about College Hill,
yeah, that's right.
The reason why he's Carolina, the number 3 party school in the country.
Oh, yeah.
Last 25 years.
Absolutely. I think we all have that in common. We absolutely love college football. In my opinion, it is the greatest sport on planet Earth, and it's not even close. So if you don't agree with that, well, you're probably not here to begin with. So, but let's get started on the upcoming game this weekend. But before we get into the actual X's and O's, before we get into the actual matchup of Clemson versus La Tech, I do want to give a shout out to the Brzee family. They lost, or Brian Brzee lost his sister, 15 years old. She lost her battle with brain cancer. So I'm sure most, if not all, Clemson fans already know that. But thoughts and prayers to his family. I know what it's like to lose a close family member to cancer. It's not easy, regardless of the age, but especially when they're so young. So shout out to the Brzee family. I hope they are doing well. I hope Brian Brzee is spending time with his family. And whenever he comes back, Clemson football will be here to embrace him with open arms. So what I do want to transition into before we get into football as well is so those of you that have been living under a rock, we've mentioned it in a couple shows now, but we got a new sound system. We got a new scoreboard in Death Valley. We got new screens all over the place, the highest definition you can buy. There's a new sound system. There's a new light show. And Clemson will debut that light show this weekend. They play 8 o'clock against La Tech this weekend on the ACC network. So I'll go quickly around the horn. Are you guys excited about this light show? You're not excited about this light show? What's the deal?
Well, I mean, I think it's cool. Like, I saw the promo that they did, the Clemson football released kind of, when on their different social media platforms. It looks really neat. I feel bad for the kids that are staying in core right now, because when they open their window, they're probably like blinded at night these days. So I feel for them, feel for those freshmen. Like in stadium suites and stuff like that. But I don't know. I think it's really cool. It's a new addition, and I think it's going to add to the nighttime experience. At football games. It's obviously the night games. So I don't really have a problem with it. I know maybe some older fans may be less of a fan. They don't like how the video board looks, and maybe it's too big. But I don't know. I welcome the change.
All right. Smitty, what you got? I already know your answer, but go ahead.
I just want to see it live,
Yeah.
Scoreboard, I'm not a huge fan of. I mean, they don't even have how many timeouts are left on there. That big old screen, you can tell me they don't have how many timeouts are left on there? Get out of here, people. But all in all, I mean, in all honesty, like I'm excited. I'm glad it's definitely an addition. It's definitely one of those shiny new toys that's going to bring in new recruits. It's definitely going to sell tickets because regardless of who they're playing this year, everybody wants to see the scoreboard. Everybody wants to see the light show. So, I mean, it's definitely going to be a benefit.
Absolutely. DeAndre, what you got? What do you think of the new light show?
I'm going to be kind of odd. I don't care. But what I think they should do, I think they should go add the 1977 national championship up there. We deserve that national championship. We're going to have one loss that year. That was to Georgia. USC beat Alabama. USC lost to Arizona State. So I don't know how we can't claim that national championship. That's one thing I'm going to throw out there. We should claim that national championship and put it up there and give us 4. But I know they're not going to do it. But this is something I think should be put up there. We should go ahead and claim it. Everybody else claim crazy championships from the AP era that shouldn't. So why shouldn't we? So that's what I don't think I'll throw out there.
Yeah, why not?
Hey, we'll leave the claiming fake national championships to Alabama. Okay,
yeah.
Leave that to them.
Ohio State got a better claim to that one. Ohio State claims more.
Oh yeah.
Yes, national championship.
Yeah, we'll leave that to Alabama. All right, so let's get into La Tech really quick. Let's talk some La Tech football. I'm sure a lot of people in the country have no clue who even plays on La Tech's roster. I'm sure they don't know who they played last week or the week before, or maybe they do. Maybe there's some college football junkies like the 3 other gentlemen sitting with me tonight. But we're going to get into some La Tech football. They got first-year head coach Sonny Cumbie. He comes from kind of the Mike Leach coaching tree, the air raid offense, spread it out, a lot of passes, quick game, getting the ball downfield, really stretching the defense, really seeing what you got at the second and third level of your defense. So I will go around the horn real quick and let's talk some La Tech football, guys. What do you see from this offense? What do you see about the overall philosophy in the first 2 weeks with their first-year head coach, Sonny Cumbie? Do you see La Tech giving Clemson's defense any sort of issues?
Yeah. To be frank, yeah. When I watched them play, the Missouri game. I wasn't able to get much of the tape of the Stephen F. Austin game. But what jumped out to me is just, how quickly they get the ball out, how much they use, receiver motion. They have some really quick, twitchy wide receivers that they like to get the ball out in space. They like to move around a lot in the formation. Really, get information from the defense when they motion those guys out. And it's going to be tough. I think Clemson is going to have to be physical with these guys on the outside. They can't give up a whole lot of free releases. They can't, play off too much because they're going to kill them like Furman did last week in the quick game. So I think it's going to be key for Clemson to, just be more technically sound in their man technique. I know Wes Goodwin and Dabo have said in their press conferences that they need to be better in that area. So just seeing that kind of improvement is going to be huge for their success tomorrow. So that's kind of what jumps out to me on the tape.
Okay, Smitty, quick thoughts on La Tech. What do you think?
I think their offense is definitely kind of a mixed bag. They're touted as an air raid offense, but they don't quite have all the pieces. They have their own quarterback controversy currently. The starter came out, didn't have a good start. Now I think Parker McNeil is going to start his game against Clemson. And
rough game to start, man.
Even he's kind of shaky, So while they do have weapons at receiver and tight end, it's gonna all depend on like what kind of game he comes out there and plays, where he's at mentally, and whether or not Death Valley shakes the quarterback that hasn't really been playing much. I think this is his second start, and he's a 6th-year senior or 5th-year senior or something like that.
He's been in college a long time.
Yeah, he's an older dude, so you would think that he has some sort of poise built up. But I guarantee you he's never played in a place like Death Valley, especially a night game in Death Valley. If you're a Clemson fan and you've been to a night game in Death Valley, or you're not a fan of Clemson and you've been to a night game in Death Valley, it's different. It is an absolutely electric atmosphere. And I know it's La Tech, but I guarantee you the first night game of the season, these Clemson fans are going to be jacked up. So, there might be some pregame jitters on the La Tech side of the ball. What do you think, DeAndre?
Well, I think they had that crazy play against Mississippi State last week where the guy got hiked the ball over his head and nobody from Mississippi State could pick up the ball, and it rolled all the way down to the opposite 1-yard line. I don't know if y'all saw that play. But I'm looking for a Clemson defense to get out to a quick start, not looking over to the sideline. I think this is a game that our linebackers can use their athleticism because they could be lined up against 4 receivers. I know we don't like bringing in the third corner. So I'm very interested to see how we're going to do against the quick game in the game. I really don't think they pose a lot of issues. I saw Jason Priester. He talked about bringing Xavier Thomas possibly back this week. And also I know they got on Miles Murphy about him loafing. So we're going to see what type of energy
we'll talk about that.
Clemson is going to bring to the table.
We'll talk about that a little bit later when we get into the Clemson defense.
But being from East Carolina and seeing La Tech play a lot, they really haven't changed their offense since Sonny Dice or Skip Holtz, whoever you want to go to. I know the spread and the run and shoot or whatever we call it nowadays, there's a little bit differences, but it's pretty much the same offense they have always ran. As long as you don't lose 14-0 like Miami did, I think we're okay.
I don't expect this is kind of one of those games where it's a lose-lose. kind of for the D1 school, right?
Right.
If Clemson performs well, if we establish the run, if DJ has a huge day, if we score all the points in the world, right? Hey, it's just La Tech. That's what you were supposed to do, right? But if, much like last week, and Furman moves the ball like they did against our defense, it's a lose-lose, right? If Clemson's defense would have shut Furman down and held them to, minimal yards, it would have been, oh, well, it's Furman. Yeah, duh, you're supposed to do that. You claim to be the number one defense coming into the season, right? So it's kind of a lose-lose situation, but I do see Clemson coming out this week with a lot more passion. Again, I think La Tech is kind of a younger team, right? They got their heavy sophomore on their team. I know they have 8 starters coming back on defense, but I want to get into kind of their skill position a little bit since we're talking their offensive side of the ball. They got new head coach Sonny Cumbie. He comes from the Mike Leach tree, as we talked about before. But they do have some dogs at receiver. They do have some weapons that could possibly give Clemson a little bit of trouble if properly used. And, if the game plan works out for them, they got Griffin Hebert, I think his name is. Is their tight end Hebert? He's their leading receiver coming in, I think. Kind of a more wide receiver build than a tight end build, I think. They got Trey Harris coming in. That's kind of their lead receiver coming from last year. He looks to be a guy that can cause problems. And then you also have Smoke Harris. That's kind of their quick twitch guy. Excuse me. That's kind of the shifty guy that could short yardage, quick pass type of thing. Some of the things that Furman did against Clemson's defense last week could be exploited by Smoke Harris and some of the other weapons. What do you guys think?
I agree. We got to improve on that. People getting the ball out fast and us getting lined up and tackling. I think that was a problem last week versus Furman. And getting off the field, I think they had Clemson had 19 possessions in the second half, and that's why they said the offense spluttered a lot.
Yeah, 19 plays in the second half. 19 plays.
Excuse me.
I think a lot of it has to also do with the corner, the secondary play is young and it's not up to the standard that maybe it should be. But I think the defense could definitely benefit from getting a little linebacker help on these bigger tight ends, especially with the quickness of the linebackers currently. I know the Ben Bulwares and whatnot weren't really fast enough to cover, weren't really great at cover. So maybe the defensive scheme pulled away from that in recent years. But I think with the speed and the athleticism of the linebackers right now, I think they could help a lot with especially those athletic tight ends like the guy from Furman last week and the kid from La Tech this week. Like a little linebacker help might turn that into a totally different game.
Right. Yep.
Yeah. And so just flying to the ball, Clemson is going to give up some completions. They're going to, they use a lot of screens in their offense. They do a lot of misdirection. Like I said, a lot of receiver motion. So just staying disciplined, they're going to give the defense a lot for their eyes to take in. So just, making sure that you're flying to the ball, making clean tackles is going to be huge in limiting the types of gains they get. Because I'm not necessarily confident in their quarterback play, but, if they're going to make it, if they're going to, just take the short field and throw it to their wide receivers, I mean, it's not going to take much. So, this defensive line is also going to have to be disciplined. They do have actually a really good running back. He had a good performance against Stephen F. Austin, Crosby. He's a quick, powerful runner. They do a lot of outside zone, a lot of stuff like that to get him the ball outside. So the ends are going to have to play better than they did last week. DeAndre already mentioned, Miles Murphy loafing and stuff like that. So, and we haven't really heard his name called so far this year that much. So, seeing those guys get, a lot better and, being more disciplined and sound is going to be huge because if La Tech is running the ball, it's going to make it that much harder on the defense when they, drop back and pass it. So,
Right.
That's going to be key. Is also slowing down their run game.
Yeah, I had to go look it up, but also if you look on their defense, they returned 8 players on defense from last year, and then also on top of that, they have a Tennessee um, transfer, Buchanan. So it could be kind of interesting to see how they do on defense. They have a lot of players that sat out the COVID year, so they got a lot of 6-year players on that defense.
Yeah.
A lot of transfers.
Yeah, a lot of transfers, a lot of experience, a lot of returning starters on the defense. So we'll kind of see how that goes, and we'll get more into that as we get into the Clemson offense. But I want to keep with the defensive theme and the La Tech offense, and kind of their spread it out type of scheme. And what I want to talk about is, I don't know if any of you guys saw it. I'm sure most people did, but Dabo Swinney's interview, his pregame interview, if you will, or his weekly interview with the media for the La Tech game. He was pretty harsh on the defense, more harsh than I've seen Dabo Swinney in the past, on especially a win. He was very critical of the defense's effort. He said they never left the hotel room. They never left the hotel period. He called out Miles Murphy by name, which is one of our elite defensive linemen. For those of you that don't know, I'm sure everybody does, but he called out Miles Murphy by name. He called out the defense for loafing on multiple plays. He said the effort wasn't where it needed to be. And that was sort of surprising for me. What did you guys get from Dabo Swinney's interview and his criticism of the defense? And how do you think, and before that, how do you think they'll respond this week with that public criticism that they received? And I'm sure they received plenty in the meeting rooms when they were watching tape as well.
You could tell they weren't into it. I mean, you can just look at the game and yards that they gave up and stuff like that. You could tell they wasn't into it versus Furman.
Yeah, you tell the energy difference.
Yeah.
Versus Georgia Tech and then Furman, for sure.
Right.
It just felt different.
It did. How do you guys think they're going to respond with that criticism this week? Now, granted, we are going to be missing a couple key pieces this week, I think. I know Tyler Davis is kind of a game time decision. I don't expect Brian Brzee to play this week. Xavier Thomas is possibly back this week. Maybe, maybe not. So we are missing a lot of key pieces on the defensive line, but we do have a lot of good depth there, which is good for us. Very different than our 2018 defensive line. So how do you think the defense responds this week with that public criticism that they received and the fact that Furman outgained Clemson? As good as Clemson's offense was, they couldn't get the ball in the second half. They ran 19 plays in the second half. Clemson couldn't get off the field on third down. So do you think they play more inspired this week, or what do you guys think?
I think they're going to play more inspired, especially knowing that they're going to have Breezy on their mind. And they're like, yo, man, we're going to come out here and show our boy we got his back until he gets back and do whatever that he's going to do for the rest of the season. So I think he's going to come out inspired, and I think they're going to come out fast and strong, and they're going to wrap it up. And like you said, we got Orokuku and Page and I can't remember the other guy, Williams, Ty Williams, on that middle of that line. So we should be okay. And with Xavier Thomas back, last year was supposed to be his money year. I guess he decided to come back. This is really going to be his money year. So I expect for him to push whoever side he's coming off of and make sure that they as hungry as he is. So I think they're going to come out inspired. I was expecting to see a lot of sacks this game.
Okay.
Yeah, I expect a lot. I expect the energy change. I don't think it matters. We love the guys that aren't going to be there. We enjoy watching them play, but I think with the criticism and how it's going to hit the ego, I don't think you're going to notice that those guys are gone. I think it's going to look like Clemson. You're going to this week you might even look over the sideline and make sure Coach B isn't hiding behind somebody, because that defense is going to look. They're going to look ready. I mean, and if they're not, I mean, there's a bigger issue, I think.
Right.
So
Yeah. I mean, especially considering, Dabo really, called a lot of people out. Nobody got defensive player of the game last week. Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, I would hope that they come out with more fire considering everything. It's about pride and, doing your job and doing it well and doing it better than anybody else. And that's kind of the standard that's been set on that side of the ball for Clemson. So, I think they know that they didn't play up to snuff last week. So, yeah, just, doing the things that you're supposed to do, doing your job, staying focused, and Clemson's going to be just fine on that side of the ball. So I'm not too concerned about it.
Yep. Ty Guy gets into the comments, said, if you haven't signed up for Patreon, please do. It's the best $5 a month you will spend. Yeah, absolutely. Subscribe to the Mark Rogers YouTube channel. Subscribe to the Mark Rogers Clemson channel, which you guys are on right now. So hopefully you guys like, share, and subscribe this channel. But go ahead and subscribe to his Patreon as well. $5 a month. There's all sorts of great content over there. So don't
Especially if you're a gambler, it's worth it.
Yeah.
If you're a gambler, it's worth it.
He'll make you some money over there. He'll make you some money.
I gotta go. Sometimes I have to tell him like I disagree with him, but a lot of times, you'll make you some money.
He'll make you some money over there.
But with that said,
But with that said, I think the defense is much improved this week. I think they play inspired. I think they play with a chip on their shoulder this week. They've been called out by their coach. They've been called out in the media. They've been called out everywhere. I mean, look, this Clemson defense is deep, and you're not that talented and don't have pride, I don't think. They're coached the right way, I believe. They're made of the right stuff in Clemson. I think there's a certain culture in Clemson, and I think they will respond. So this week, I look for the Clemson defense to be far more dominant. Now, will La Tech hit some plays? I'm sure they will. Those screenplays are kind of hard to diagnose sometimes, but we do have the speed at linebacker. We did talk about some of their players on offense that could test our secondary, but I think at the end of the day, I think Clemson defense puts a lockdown approach on. So any other thoughts on the Clemson defense or the La Tech offense that you guys want to talk about before we move on?
I think we covered everything. Really, just do your job. Don't give up. Don't give up any big plays. I mean, and you should be all right.
Yeah, I think it comes down to what's that?
Energy and effort.
Energy and effort. Have some pride, right? When you walk on that field with that Clemson Paul on the side of your helmet, have some pride, and I think they will this week. So, switching gears to the Clemson offense. What are your guys' thoughts this week on the Clemson offense? So last week we did build some momentum. DJ looked a lot better than he did in week one, right? First half of week one against Georgia Tech didn't look so great. Missed a lot of throws. There was drops. There was all sorts of miscues in the first half. There was a high snap. There was a fumble by DJ. There was a whole sort of things. We kind of got it together in the second half. Cade came in. He had his one drive. He drove it down. He looked crazy. He looked so good. Every Clemson fan around was like, oh, my God, see, we were telling you the whole time, DJ's not the guy. Cade Klubnik needs to play, right? Fast forward a week later, we're playing Furman. DJ scores on 5 of 6 drives. Presumably, the only reason he didn't score on 6 of 6 is because one of those drives was Cade's drive, right? Cade did not look sharp. He did not look ready. I don't know what the deal was. What are your guys' thoughts leaving last week as far as Clemson offense goes and going into this week?
Excuse me, before we get started on that one, got a question for y'all. This is a little trivia question for y'all before we go with it.
Okay.
There's something that, since we're talking about offense, what happened in the first game between Clemson and Louisiana Tech they ever played? Y'all know?
That was Woody Dancer's last game, wasn't it? In the humanitarian. I think
But
it
yeah,
was.
but I ain't gonna hold up too much time. Zachary Travis. That was the
Yeah.
first running back to ever go over 100 yards rushing, 100 yards receiving in the humanitarian bowl. It was just something I want to bring up because that's something dealing with Clemson and Louisiana Tech history. But yeah, I'm sorry. We go back to the thing. I'll just give you a little tribute.
Hey, I like it. I like it. Yeah, good job. Good job.
That was a
Good
great bowl.
trivia stuff.
That was a great victory for them. You know, they
Yeah.
won like 49-24. You know, that was a good
Yeah.
send off for in the snow too. That was a great game.
And I think that was the first time we ever played in Idaho on the blue turf.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the first bowl game I remember.
Yeah.
Vividly, you know.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
I'm not super old, but I'm just
We're a little old, like a little bit.
And I guess I don't qualify for that. But, I mean,
You do not. You do not.
I think
But
I was like 3 when that game was played. So, but
yeah.
So let's going back to offense. Yeah, I think I want to see efficiency. I want to see reps. I don't think unless the game gets out of hand, I don't want to see Cade Klubnik. You know, unless we're up 3 or 4 scores early, then because I think DJ still needs the reps. Honestly, in-game reps. If we're wanting to take this through the playoffs, I think game reps are important for the offense, especially. I think there needs to be definitely a better rotation at running back. I don't know what that is, but the hot hand should, I think, definitely keep the ball. Give them all a chance, and whoever's running better, just it's their turn to get 20 reps. I mean that would be my thoughts on that. And then we just need the receivers to catch the ball.
Right.
Less drops, and I mean you're talking about a totally different offense. So many drops that's what's stalling the drives. The short drives are all stalled by drops. Outside of Cade Klubnik's drives, of course, those were a little different.
Yeah, those looked a little different.
Goes, that's about what I'm looking at, and I would love to see Davis Allen attack the middle. I think he needs to own that. That'll be his spot. I think there could be a lot of success there for sure.
I love to see it last week. Us attacking the middle last week, like I said in the post game, was a sight for sore eyes. I didn't know that Clemson's offense was capable of it because us as Clemson fans have been talking about it for so long. But it was great to see, and I'm pretty sure DJ connected on every single pass he threw across the middle.
Yeah.
Am I right about that?
I think it was like 5 for 5 or something like that.
Right. So just goes to show you, Brandon Streeter, you're probably not listening because you have much better things to do. But keep calling those plays.
Yes.
But I'll turn it over to the rest of you guys. You go ahead and Jordan and DeAndre, give your thoughts.
I want to see more physical offensive line play. That's what I want to do. I want to see them push them guys off the line. And I don't say something that's going to be controversial. I want to see Hunter Johnson get in the game. So what happened if you would have gave DJ Godell, then Cade can't move the ball? I like to see Hunter Johnson get in somewhere, and I also like to see them use Will Taylor somewhere. I mean, Will Taylor got a lot of hype. I like to see Will Taylor get used a little bit more in a quick game, get him out there. I watched a lot of college football last weekend. I know a lot of people went with the spread, like 5 people, and long boundary plays. DJ got the arm to get it out there. Get these guys some quick passes and get them in a rhythm, man. That's, I just really think our offense is the reason why we not struggling this year, because we blown out everybody we played, but that we just need to get going. And I know it's only 2 games, but we really need to get it going.
Yeah. I want to get in the comment section real quick because there's a couple people commenting some interesting things. I want to get your guys' thoughts. I don't mean to cut you off, Jordan.
All good.
We'll get your thoughts in a second, but Mel Graves gets into the chat and he says Cade was not at fault. That was play calling by the coaches to make sure Cade did not show DJ up again. Those plays they called for Cade couldn't nobody run. Okay, nobody could run those plays, according to Mel Graves. Big Mick gets in the comments and says, "Play calling period is the problem, not just for Cade." Bad Loafer gets in and says, "How can you give the keys to the Ferrari to the wheel guy? This is why I don't think Brandon is qualified, just my opinion." So a lot of calling out of Brandon Streeter right there. A lot of calling out of the play calling when Cade was in last game. What are your guys' thoughts on that sort of stuff? That's what people in the comment section are saying. So what do you guys think?
I think it's too early to say at this point. I'm not ready to just throw Brandon Streeter to the wolves. This is only we've only played 2 games with him as the full-time coordinator. Would I like to have seen some more stuff like we mentioned, throwing, attacking the middle and stuff like that? Yes. Do I wish Cade looked a little bit better in those in those drives he came in against Furman? Yes. But it's hard to say if that was if that was just purely a Streeter thing or how much of that was on Cade. I mean, when I watched him, it looked like he wasn't really sure where to go. He held on to the ball a while, and I felt like he bailed from from some clean pockets. So and Mel, to your point, you could be right. So I'm not saying you're wrong that Streeter is not the problem, but
right.
I think it's still too early to say.
Anybody else got any thoughts on those few comments calling out Brandon Streeter?
Yeah, definitely wouldn't put my neck out there and say that it was intentional. I'd definitely have to watch the plays a few more times. I'd have to definitely study that up before making that assumption. But I mean, I don't think anyone on the coaching staff is the type of person that wants to, put somebody out there on a hot dog stick just to kind of fry them. Like, that's not the type of people we're talking about. Dabo Swing's not going to hire those types of coaches.
Right. Okay.
I think, it's very possible that they called plays that he doesn't know unintentionally. I mean, we open up the playbook for DJ and he gets out there and we're like, oh, wait, it's possible, but I don't think it was intentional.
Okay. DeAndre, you got.
And I agree with whether Streeter's the problem or not. That's up for debate.
Yeah, I think it's a little too early to call that. But DeAndre, you got any thoughts?
All right. I'm not gonna say Brandon Streeter's a bad play caller because, like you said, it's only been 2 games. However, you heard about Trevor Lawrence's mechanics when he went into the NFL. DJ's trouble with mechanics. And I think they want DJ to succeed. And this will be a referendum, I think, on Brandon Streeter than DJ. But because I don't think I just don't see how somebody's that talented. I know we have plenty of examples of quarterbacks being ranked high and failing, but when we saw DJ versus Notre Dame and Boston College, it's like what happened between this time and last time, and it's a lot of stuff, play calling, offense. I mean, Tony Elliott just showed with Brandon Armstrong is a beast, and he only put up 3 points against Illinois. So I don't know what it is. So I just got to see what goes on the rest of the year. But I really don't have high thought. I thought we should have brought Chad Morris back.
I said the same thing.
Right, man.
Did you really?
Yes.
Yeah.
As soon as he quit high school job, I was like, he's coming back.
I don't think
so.
Yeah. He down there in Florida, South Florida with Scott, and I don't see Scott keeping that long, but I thought they should have reached out to him and brought him back, even as that's. And I know people gonna hate when I say this, but look at Scott Frost's office in Central Florida. Why not bring some people in just to teach? And I understand Dabo's like, I don't want nobody from the outside coming in and changing stuff up, but sometimes you might need a little tweaking of what you do. So
I'll agree with you here, DeAndre, and you as well, Smitty. You guys both wanted Chad Morris to come back. I did not.
Me neither.
I will say I did not. However, I am intrigued about maybe an offensive analysis position where he kind of like a consult where he kind of has his hands in it, but he's not the guy calling the plays. He's not the guy running the show. I would be intrigued about something like that for him, maybe.
I go with that.
But no, I would not want him back as an offensive coordinator. That's just my opinion. Big Mac
Have y'all seen any
Big
tempo?
Mac
Maybe
agrees with you and Smitty. He says we should have snagged Chad. He also says all plays go through Dabo. Dabo approves the plays that will be called. Do you guys think Dabo literally approves all the plays, or do you think he obviously has a hand in the offense?
Yeah, it's clear. Yeah, I mean, it's clear. I mean, Dabo, is he's very involved with the offense. I mean, it's not very clear, like how much, is it just like, Streeter has to get approval for everything he implements, or is it just, some stuff, we don't know that. We're not insiders and, know the ins and outs, but, Dabo does. Yeah, obviously he does. He gets the final say if he wants to run something. If he doesn't want them to run something, they're not going to run it. But it like I said, it's still too early to say. To the Chad Morris point, I an analyst position I would be okay with. But, I'm not a big believer in retread hires and stuff like that. Because I think people, some fans have forgotten that how much of this offense is still influenced by Chad Morris and what he implemented when he first got to the job. And now it's changed. It's definitely changed over the years, and it's not exactly the same. Obviously the tempo is, Clemson has kind of gotten away from the tempo stuff that they did when Morris was the coordinator. But a lot of the same concepts and the same philosophies are still there. So if you want a truly fresh ideas, like getting an outside guy, like DeAndre mentioned Scott Frost. Honestly, some people would bristle at that because of his, time at Nebraska. But, I think Scott Frost knows offense. If he's not, required to run the program, that's not something I would hate, to be honest. But, that's not going to happen. That's just a hypothetical. But I would.
Yeah, but I just think you need some more creativity. I mean, that's what I think. But I agree. The tempo. That a lot of times they said the reason why their offense struggled. I know we get off topic, but our defense struggled back in the day because Chad Morrissey ran so many plays, and the defense got worn out. So I know that had a lot to do with it, but I still think that sometimes you need some more creativity in your offense. But like I said too, and Jordan said, it's only 2 games, so they might be hiding some stuff for NC State and Wake Forest and just getting away with beating people off pure talent right now.
Right. So Ty Guy gets into the comments, says Scott Frost is a great OC, just not a head coach. Hey, maybe that's Clemson's next move, right? We bring Scott Frost on as a OC. I don't know. But before we get too far off topic, last thing I'll say about it is I think it's too early to be seen whether Brandon Streeter gets the job done. I think we need to give him a little bit more time. And I'm okay with giving him a little bit more time. But at the same time, Clemson is an elite program, and we can't wait too long. I will say that. So with all that being said, let's kind of shift gears, staying with the offensive theme, but O-line. What do you guys think about the Clemson O-line going into the La Tech game, as well as if you want to hit on how they performed before, the improvement that you saw from game 1 to game 2, and then what you expect in game 3?
Really didn't get that many sacks up.
Yeah, they protected. Yeah, pass protection was really good, honestly, last week. But yeah, just getting more push in the run game is going to be huge. I don't know how much you guys, how much stock you guys put into PFF, but Blake Miller was actually the highest graded run blocker on Saturday. So that was a big improvement. I think it was like an 80 or something like that. So that was a huge step up from what he was against Georgia Tech. Walker Parks didn't have Walker Parks played a little bit better, at guard. He's still, readjusting to playing guard, and so that's going to be a work in progress moving forward. But just getting more push and being more physical, in the run game is going to be huge. And I think they are going to get better. It's just going to be one of those things. It's a slow build as guys get more comfortable at their positions.
Yeah, I still don't know why Lay don't play. I mean, put him at right tackle, see what he could do. I mean, he was the highest. I know I keep beating the dead horse, but he was one of the top offensive linemen coming out. And we recruited pretty good at guard. I don't know why some of these guys are not panning out. I know we got a new offensive line coach, but it was Furman. But like I said, NC State coming up in 2 weeks. You got a better offensive line. We just said that this particular team has 8 guys returning. So we're going to see what they can do against them. But I need to see more push and in the middle. McFadden is a rock at left tackle, but I just want to see more.
Yeah, we got to up that yards per carry for sure.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think ETN's senior year, and that's 2 years ago. I think his numbers fell dramatically off where he was the all-time leading per yards carry.
Yards per carry. Yeah, yards per carry. He was the all-time leader.
I know some people say, well, we ain't never been good at offensive line. But, I mean, there got to be something going on that just ain't right.
Yeah. Yeah, and Bad Loafer, he mentioned it in the comments. Yeah, I mean, O-line issues for the last 10 plus. I wouldn't call them issues. It was definitely the weakest part of the team. But Clemson had some really good offensive lines. Not guys loaded with star-studded talent, but guys that played well together. And knew how to execute their assignments. When you had guys like John Simpson, Tremaine Ankrum, Mitch Hyatt. Guys like that, Justin Falcinelli, guys that, weren't drafted very high, if they were drafted at all, but they executed their assignments. They did their job, and they did it at a good enough level for the offense to work. And we don't have that right now. That 2018 offensive line was probably the best offensive line we've had since Dabo's been the head coach. Not a lot of star-studded. It wasn't a very star-studded line, but they played well together. Gave Trevor Lawrence enough time. Blocked well for Travis Etienne, and that's. I mean,
at the end of the day, on offensive line, it's more about chemistry, right?
Yeah.
Yes, it's about talent. Yes, it's about size. Yes, it's about ability. But at the end of the day, if those 5 guys can't work together, regardless of how talented they are individually, it'll never work. That's the one position group that literally has to work together. Bible Belt Beauties Get In says, our O-line literally just piles up at the line of scrimmage. What you think, Smitty?
Yeah, definitely in run plays. It just feels like they just kind of run into each other. I don't know. The difficulty, you would think with the running back talent that we have, like a run play from the 1 yard line should be easy, but it definitely takes 3 or 4 tries, and it really shouldn't.
Yeah, man, it's been a problem for the last few years. I mean, I give, and that's when we recruited DJ. Like I said, I like DJ, but it's like we kind of recruited pocket passer, and we've been known for quarterbacks that have some movement. Like I always thought Emory Jones or the guy that's at Florida or the guy at Arkansas were more suited for Clemson than DJ. Even Trevor, because I didn't really Trevor Lawrence, I know he could move, but I really thought he was more a pocket passer. So I think that helped out when they had Deshaun Watson and Kelly and Todd Boyd. Because outside the Raiders recruiting our offensive linemen for some whatever reason, a lot of offensive linemen didn't get go. I don't even know if Cameron Jackson. I don't know if he's still in the pros right now. I know he was drafted by the Bengals in the second
Jackson
round.
Carman?
Jackson Carman, yeah.
Jackson
I
Carman,
don't know.
Yeah, he's still on the Bengals.
Yeah, he was still in the Bengals.
I think he's a
I
backup.
know he's on the bench, though. Yeah,
he's on the bench.
You guys see it on the feet or on the screen. Don't see much issues with the O-line when you got Deshaun Watson and Trevor Lawrence behind center.
I mean, that's
kind of
true.
goes to what you were saying, D4. Those guys kind of cover up a lot of issues that you can have both on the offensive line and in the offensive play calling. So that's kind of been the theme for Clemson fans, right? Is maybe our elite quarterback play has covered up a lot of issues that are kind of being brought to light with the DJU era.
Yeah. And then those guys could move. I mean, I can't tell you one offensive lineman under Tosh Boyd that went to the pros. I can't even tell you who was on the offensive line, but those guys could move though. I mean, DJ obviously maybe that's why he would have lost the weight where he can move. And I agree with this gentleman right here, but we just offensive line ain't really been good, man. I don't think got anything recruiting because we go look at their recruits for the offensive line. There's been four or five guys, 4-stars come there. I just think it's development.
Yeah, this is a very. I mean, if you look at the star rankings of the guys on the line, there's a lot of talent. I don't think we've had recruited this well on the offensive line in a long time. So
and I think this guy also said he was going by size. He wanted to get bigger size people. I think that's another thing that he was going by. So I mean, I don't.
Yeah, our new OL coach Austin. Yeah.
And he's definitely shown in recruiting.
Yep.
So it'll be interesting. They've got some good offensive linemen committed in this class with some bigger guys that I really like and are going to add some size. I still think the future is bright at the offensive line position, and you just got to give Thomas Austin some time. I think he's, everything I've heard about him is he's phenomenal, and obviously it's showing on the recruiting trail, and you just got to give it time to show on the field. So,
all right. So because Curtis got into the chat and talked about a wide receiver that we should see this week. We'll go ahead and switch gears to wide receiver. Adam Randall. A lot of talk about him in the spring, right? A lot of talk about him before he tore his ACL. Now he's back. There's been talk since that he is going to be an elite wide receiver. He looks the part. What do you guys think? Adam Randall's he's supposed to be back this week. I hope we see him on the field this week. What do you think his impact will be for this game? Not only for this game, but going forward. Keep in mind, our wide receiver room has been plagued with drops. We have Antonio Williams that has kind of separated himself as far as our slot guy. He showed that he can catch contested balls last week, in my opinion. I think he showed that he could do that. Bo Collins has kind of been a bright spot, but we've had some drops. I know Dabo Swinney talked about E.J. Williams this past week and how his confidence is a little shaken. I don't know if that's from injuries or the drops or a combination of the two, but how do you guys see our wide receiver room shaping up this year? Do you see Adam Randall kind of taking over as that alpha, or do you see Bo Collins continuing with that kind of alpha role? Do you see Joseph Ngata maybe taking over that? He was supposed to be the Mike Williams type receiver after the Mike Williams era, right? What do you guys see for our wide receiver room, both in this game and then going forward?
I think we're definitely still in the only time will tell phase, especially when it comes to Adam Randall. I mean, we haven't seen him on the field yet. This week can be iffy because Dabo said he's going to have him on a pitch count. So, whatever that number is, he goes out there for that number of plays, and might not get open or might not get the ball, then we won't see him. But yeah, Bo Collins is definitely. I think he's going to end up, if not already, the leader of the group for sure. But yeah, Williams.
I think
Williams is definitely there with. I think he and Bo both right there together with 7. They're both leading receptions for the team.
Yeah.
Everybody else is far below them.
Yeah, I think those two have kind of
still single digits.
Separated a little bit, at least early in the season. We'll see how the season plays out.
But I just, at the end of the day, as long as I see less drops, I'll be happy. I mean,
yeah,
I know, right?
Yeah, that's what we all want.
You can't judge the entire offense and blame a quarterback or blame a coach when receivers are dropping more balls than they're catching. So
Right.
I think we need to once the receivers start catching the ball, I think we can then have the conversation of what the number one issue is.
Especially open throws right on the money, right? Like, I mean, at the end of the day, a contested catch is one thing, but when it's an open throw right on the money, there's really no excuse. So
Yeah, and to build on the Adam Randall point, I'm really interested to see how much he trusts his knee in this game. I mean, I saw that clip that Clemson football put out, of him making that catch on I think it was Toriano Pride, and he looked really good, but it was a straight line. It was just a straight go route, and he got over the shoulder, caught it over the shoulder. It looked really good.
yes.
But I'm interested to see how he cuts, how if they're going to have him running any really complicated routes, or are they just going to give him a lot of go routes and stuff like that, just to because I have no doubt that his straight line speed is going to be good. I'm just really interested to see like the route running, how much he can plant and all that, because he is, again, he tore his ACL in the spring, so that's
Right.
That's always it's always a concern, but
That's a big deal. I mean, yeah, that's super quick turnaround, and it's not easy to shake back from an injury like that. When you
I'm
feel
waiting to see. I'm
Go
waiting to see. I'm sorry. After they hyped up Fred Letson and Nagata, like supposed to be like higher, better than Sammy Watkins coming in as a freshman, I'm kind of like, I want to wait and see, because I got to see how these guys are being used and are they getting the ball. Williams, he's done pretty good. He hasn't really got off. He's Spector still in front of him. It's obviously that he's more talented than Spector. So I got to really see these guys get on the field and see what they can do. And if this guy's coming off ACL injury and he's already pushing guys that's been there for 4 or 5 years, 3 or 4 years, that doesn't say much about receiver room. And he's a freshman and coming off an ACL. That tells us that we're in some trouble. We rely on this guy to come save us all of a sudden. I mean, I'm sorry that I know Bo Collins has done good, but EJ Williams, Nagata, they should be dominant. Yeah, they should be dominating, man. The Collins, they sophomores, so I give them some respect, but EJ Williams and Nagata shouldn't be looking like they look, man. Because I don't know if y'all seen this, but let's go back to the Georgia Tech game. If they didn't drop the passes they would have been at, DJ would have had like a 79% passer rate if they didn't drop them balls.
That's
versus
true.
Georgia Tech. Yeah.
Yeah, so DJ has received a lot of criticism based off of receivers dropping the ball. Curtis gets in, says Randall is taking someone's spot. I agree. I think he will. Just judging by what the coaching staff has said about him and the fact that we have not had a significant amount of wide receivers step up, I think he does take somebody's spot. I think he does become a receiver that DJ is going to lean on later on in the season. Big Mac gets in, says Ngata is not it. I want to see Bo, Adam, and Antonio out there together.
Well, I mean, we got to wait. It's still wait and see on Adam. Just they're going to ease him in. I think I think some fans are expecting him to just come out and and just come out and get all the snaps and all that. It's
not going to happen.
It's going to be a process, but
right.
It would not. It's not going to surprise me if at the end of the year, Randall is full-time starter and all that. But until then, he's listed as an or, I think, but with who is it? Is it Dakari Collins on the boundary or something like that? So
yeah.
But they're still they're gonna ease him in, but because he hasn't played a lot of football in the grand scheme of things. So there still could be some growing pains.
Curtis gets in again, says DJ is starting to trust the pocket. It's coming together, I believe. It did look like that in the last game. It did look like that for sure. So we'll see if we can build on that confidence, and hopefully the offense continues to improve.
Yeah, DJ definitely looks a lot more comfortable. He's moving his feet. I like how he's going through his progressions. It doesn't look like he's, locking onto his receivers as much as he did last year. He had a couple nice runs against Furman on Saturday. So, that's all, huge progress. That's stuff we didn't see last year. So, just if he continues to build on it, my confidence will grow in this offense. It's nice to see.
So Curtis gets back in. You mentioned something that I wanted to talk to about the Dabo Swinney press conference from this past week. And there's a lot of talk out there about how Clemson's wide receiver group has a lot of experience, but Dabo kind of disputed the fact that Clemson has a lot of experience at wide receiver. He kind of said, there's not a lot of guys with a lot of snaps in the wide receiver room. There's a lot of older dudes, but they've been hurt a lot when it comes to snaps played and things like that in the offense. So we have a older wide receiver room in some cases, and then some young guys as well, but not an experienced wide receiver group. What do you guys think of that? Jordan, you can start off.
I mean, yeah, it's a good point. I mean, he's not wrong. I mean, you got to play a little bit his freshman year. Then way back 2019 that was. He played a little bit there, showed a little bit of stuff. Then 2020 couldn't get on the field. Due to injury. 2021 he was in and out of the lineup with injury, and so he's spent a lot of his career, injured. So, he hasn't played a whole lot of snaps. So, I mean, I think that's a good point. EJ is the same. He flashed as a freshman in 2020. I still remember that one-handed catch he made against Notre Dame. That was good. And, he had a really nice plays towards the end of the year.
Right.
But then he spent a lot of last year injured, and now as a junior, it's kind of working his way back. Even you look at the guys in the slot, Brandon Spector, he didn't play at all last year. And so he's, easing back into the position. Will Taylor,
right.
He was a true freshman last year and tore his ACL. So, I mean, he's still learning the position.
Yeah.
Dabo has talked about that. So he's not even really, they have him in punt return, and he's got to work on that too. He made a bad decision on Saturday, but
he did. He dove for a ball that he should have let go.
Yeah.
But here's the thing: Clemson fans have to understand, and we have to understand as fans on here, is the Clemson wide receiver room doesn't have a lot of experience. They also have compiled of a lot of injuries, right? So that can shake your confidence. That really resonated with me this week when Dabo started talking about EJ Williams' confidence and stuff like that. When it comes to those back-to-back injuries, I think it get to a point where you don't really trust your body anymore, and you're kind of hesitating, right? Depending on, like, when you start building these injuries back-to-back and you're never really healthy.
Walk back there and tell her pause the game.
EJ flashed as a freshman, and that was great. But and he reminded us of a Justin Ross catch, right? That one-handed catch that he did. We were like, oh, man, we got Justin Ross 2.0, same high school. They were friends in high school, yada, yada, yada. and then he had injury after injury after injury, and now his confidence is kind of shaken. So I think we start to build. We started some chemistry in last game against Furman. I think we started chemistry. I think we started trending in the right direction as an offense with DJ at the helm, and I think we just need to build on that this week. We need to continue to establish the run game. We need to continue to get some rhythm in the passing game with DJ and the receivers, and I think that will bode well for us later on in the season.
Yeah. And we've been dumping on the receivers a lot, but I will say this: I do think the blocking has improved upfield. When I watched the Furman game, it was nice to see the wide receivers get upfield and block a little bit more. So it being a little bit more physical there. I still don't think it's perfect, and I still think they have some work to do, but it looks a lot better than it did last year. It looks like at least guys are giving some effort now. So that is a positive I'll take away from the receiver group in general. But yeah, that's gotta obviously they got to continue to improve that. But that was nice to see.
We got to give the use in Dwayne Allen and Brimstone too. We talk about and getting the running backs involved in the passing game. Little quick screens, get them out there, let them guys use their speed. And make those safeties come up. But we got to start using everybody. And I know, like I said last week, we all know that if you look at games that the big schools lost, a lot of teams are holding the ball a lot more and making it tougher for teams to get in a groove. We saw that with Army in Oklahoma like 5 years ago when Kyler Murray was there. People started using like, hey, we're going to slow the game down. We're going to play cover 2, cover 3, or we're going to run the ball a lot more, and we're going to make y'all impatient. So that might be a lot of it too.
Yeah.
But gentlemen, I got to go play in the woods. So I will catch y'all
all right,
tomorrow.
DeAndre. You have a good one, brother. We appreciate you coming on, man. You have a good night.
All right. I'll take it.
All right, so Big Mac gets into the comment section, says, so the wide receiver room needs to go through progression, put the receiver in the game who will catch the ball. If that is Dabo's kid, put him on the field.
Hey, they say he's the best athlete in the family, little Drew. They say he's the best athlete. Shout
out Drew Sweeney.
Yes.
These drop balls are killing the momentum. I will agree. The drop balls do kill the momentum. I don't know if Drew Sweeney's the answer. I wouldn't go that far. But I do agree with the premise of what Big Mac is saying, and I get he's being a little facetious in his comment there.
But I mean that's a good point. Yeah, it's true. You got to put. If guys aren't going to catch the ball, then you don't play, and that's just kind of the attitude you got to have. But so that's at the end of the day, and Tyler Grisham, I think he knows that they need to play better, and so you got to just have that mentality. It's like if you got to make plays, this offense cannot work if you're not going to secure the ball. You got to be on the same page with you got to stay focused, be on the same page with your quarterback, and don't do any of the stuff that leads to drops, leads to turnovers. That Spector play where he just kind of stuck one hand out. I think there was a miscommunication and they weren't on the same page. I'm not blaming it all on Spector that the pass was incomplete, but you can't just stick your hand out in half. Try to catch the ball because it popped up and that was an interception that never should have happened. So stuff like that.
Right, and Dabo Sweeney kind of called him out in the press conference and said, yes, it was DJ's fault. He never should have thrown that ball, but it was also Brandon Spector's fault for giving up on that route. And that's kind of what I've seen a couple times in our wide receiver room, and hopefully it improves throughout the year, is them kind of getting out-muscled on plays or giving up on plays or things like that. So hopefully that improves throughout the year. But
the drop balls are definitely the momentum killer for the offense. Because overall the offense is playing pretty clean ball. I mean,
Not a lot of penalties.
There's not. The penalties
Yeah.
aren't stacking like they used to. I remember the days when it seemed like they were only calling the penalties because we were the ACC against the SEC, or whatever you want to tell yourself, right? But like there's been clean football lately, and it's the momentum killer right now is definitely the drop ball.
Yeah, and you can't expect your quarterback to gain confidence if he's putting balls on the money and just going right through the hand, and and it's a killer. There's some big plays that Clemson should have had in both games that they've played. So and just throws that you'd like to get back. But that's part of this offense learning to play together, and it kind of goes back to the point of how many of these guys have played very little ball, even though they're older, especially in the wide receiver room. So just
and
building on each performance each week is big.
Yeah, and that kind of look, you got a quarterback like DJ. Look, last year was rough. Okay, it was rough for the entire Clemson team, but especially for DJ. And when you have a quarterback like that and he makes a good throw, especially in the follow-up season, as a receiver, you got to come down with those throws. Even if it's a 50-50 ball, you got to take care of your quarterback and you got to make him look good. And that builds his confidence, right? So one of the things that I saw going into last game is DJ, first of all, the offensive pass protection was pretty good. He got some confidence throws done early. And I think that sparked his confidence for the rest of the game. He scored touchdowns on his first 5 drives. 5 out of the first 6 drives, but one of those drives were Cade's. So he scored 5 of 5 touchdowns.
Yep.
Right? So how do you think the offensive plan is going into this week? Do you think Clemson takes more of a run attack? Do you think they go to the air? Is it a combination of the two? What do you guys think? Is the offensive game plan going into La Tech week?
Being balanced
in the trenches. I think the run game is key, and that'll set everything else up.
Yep.
Really.
Yeah. Just being and being balanced, and I was establishing the run is huge, but also that you watch that Furman game, they. Big Mick in the comments saying, he mentioned that, he doesn't want to throw the ball, 40 yards down the field. And, Clemson didn't even really do that against Furman. They didn't take a whole ton of big shots, but they got some big plays, that on that first drive, and got inside, and, DJ hit him in stride and got a big gain, almost scored on that play. Like just plays like that, those are easy completions, but they get big gains, and they move the chains as well. And they were very efficient on those 5 drives. And that was that, those 5 drives were the best I've seen the Clemson offense look in quite some time, just as far as the timing, the rhythm, and, DJ looked very poised. The protections were good. So, just doing more of that, it's working. So do more of that, and just don't shoot yourself in the foot. Make the easy stuff look easy, and that way you don't have to rely on the big play to get the offense going. And so that's what I want to see, and and let the run game come. Bible Belt Beauties was in here earlier. He mentioned that he hasn't seen a lot of the 2-back sets. I think that's a good point. I think they did it a couple times against Furman, but not a whole lot. I think. Yeah. There's a really good Twitter account called Clemson Film Review, and they actually break down the formations, the percentage of each formation that Clemson uses each game. And I think they were in 12 personnel like 10% of the time. So, maybe doing a little bit more of that, because that had a lot of success last year, and the teams had trouble stopping it in the run, and it really helped the run game. So that's something I'd like to see more.
I think getting Will Shipley the ball out in space would be very helpful too.
Yeah,
and Williams, giving Williams some quick plays to see if he can open up the field with his feet.
Break one. Yep.
I mean, I think giving your playmakers opportunities to make plays are gonna be extremely beneficial, especially for a young offense like this.
I said 12 personnel. I meant 21 personnel to the 2-backs. You see, I am not completely in it today, but 21 personnel. I didn't see a lot.
Yeah. Keys getting into the chat and said, I think We play motivated tomorrow, and DJ cranks out 3 touchdowns. Fingers crossed. I hope. LOL. I hope DJ throws 3 touchdowns tomorrow. I look for Clemson to play an inspired game, especially with the news of Brian Brzez's sister passing. I think that defense will be more than motivated. I think they will be playing for their brother. I think they will leave everything out on that field, and I think the offense does the same. I look for it to be over quickly. There's not a whole lot of drama in this game. Clemson is far elite when it comes to talent in this game, when it comes to size, when it comes to anything in this game. So this should not be a close game at all. It should be over quickly. And I look for the Clemson offense and the defense to hopefully put together a complete game, a complementary game, where we can be like, okay, now we're ready to roll into ACC play and really get the season started.
Yep.
So Curtis gets in, says the passing game will start opening up the run. I think a lot of teams are going to put more players in the box until we show that we can throw the ball. Yeah, week in and week out that we can throw the ball, right? So, yes, I do think people will focus more on the run. We have a 3-headed monster in the backfield. And I remember a question from earlier that I'll get to. I told the person early on in the chat that we would get to it. How do you guys want to see the running back room handled? Last week was kind of you get this drive, then the next running back gets this drive, so on and so forth, right? How would you guys like to see the running back room handled? And what do you think the right way to handle that running back room is?
Well, like I said, I'd like to see more 21 personnel, so more 2-back sets. That would be, I think that would be good. I don't do it as your primary. I mean, Clemson has always been they run an 11 most of the time, so one running back. But I incorporate that more, and then also I think Shipley should get the most carries, but getting more creative with getting Maffa and Pace on the field, and using one as a smoke screen or a distraction, and getting it to the other guy. So it's just being more balanced and using those guys in what suits their strengths is going to be huge. So that's kind of what I want to see for that rotation. But Shipley is the best back, but getting them, getting the other guys involved more, and putting them in positions to succeed is going to be big.
Right. All right. Big Mac gets in, says Maffa and Shipley in the backfield, shifts Shipley to the slot, and see what the defense does. Not a bad plan. I like it. I think Shipley could do some damage in the slot. I really do. I think he's a good pass catcher out of the backfield. I want DJ under center on 4th and 1 and 3rd and 1. Yeah, a lot of these spread offenses, they go to the shotgun on 3rd and 1, and it's hard to watch because you're making it harder on yourself. But I do understand that a lot of these offenses never go under center. So it's a little weird for the center quarterback exchange.
Yeah.
When it comes to those short yardage plays.
Yeah. So don't do it if you haven't been practicing it. I think they have practiced it some because they've done it a couple times. But just do it in the right situations. Obviously.
Absolutely. Yeah.
At like a change of pace, or get the defense off balance because they probably didn't study that. Or expect it. So it's nice to do little wrinkles out of it, but yeah.
All right. Curtis gets in, talks about the new addition to the heavy package, apparently.
Yeah. Right.
Brian Brzee substituted, I should say Christian Wilkins substituted for Brian Brzee.
Yeah. I mean, I hope that happens at some point this season. I mean,
I
don't think we'll see him on Saturday, but hopefully he gets a big man touchdown. That'd be cool to see.
Yeah, we definitely won't see it on Saturday, but I think I hope we see him score a touchdown.
Put him in there and then put Rook at fullback or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be
yeah, for sure. Or Williams, Trey Williams.
Or Trey, yeah.
Definitely got to forget that it's all about having fun too. So
yeah. That's kind of the mantra at Clemson, right? They're very serious, and when it's business, it's business. But a lot of fun in the program as well. So I think that kind of wraps us up for tonight, guys. I think we covered pretty much everything we can cover about La Tech football, about Clemson football, about the upcoming matchup. I can't wait to watch the 8 o'clock ACC network kickoff of Clemson and La Tech. I don't care if it's just La Tech. I promise you I'll be there to watch. I can't wait to see my Clemson Tigers run down the hill. I can't wait to see the new light show. I hope that all 24 people here in the chat right now listening to us, please come back at what it'll be. It'll probably be 11:30 maybe Saturday night, immediately following the Clemson game, whatever time that is. Myself, Smitty, and Jordan Bowman, we will all be here with a live reaction for you guys. We will break down the game, and we will tell you our unfiltered thoughts about the Clemson game this Saturday night, okay? Immediately following the Clemson game. It'll probably be around 11:30, give or take, however long for commercial breaks and these referees. They gotta review everything nowadays.
Yeah.
So
a couple targeting plays. Let's
a couple targeting plays. Thank God we don't have thank God we don't have some of our old linebackers. If you know what I'm talking about. Skowski. We'd probably be a 4.5 hour game.
Yeah.
But thank you guys for joining me. Thank you, Jordan. Thank you, Smitty. If you guys got anything for the audience before we get off of here, by all means, go ahead. Now is your time. Jordan, you can go ahead.
Yeah, thanks guys for the support. Thanks for showing up and interacting in the live chat. Some really good discussion. I always enjoy talking Clemson football, whether we agree, whether we disagree. We're all fans of this program, and we want them to succeed. And that's kind of what brings us together. And that's what I love about the Clemson family, the Clemson culture. So I hope to see you guys back on Saturday night. We can talk about the game. We can laugh, cry, whatever we were feeling after that game, whether it's a win or a loss. I mean, it should be a win, but yeah. So once again, just really appreciate the support. Make sure you guys hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and check out some of the other channels in the Mark Rogers Voice of College Football sphere. Some really good content creators. They're doing some really good stuff, so give them some love as well.
Absolutely. Smitty.
Hope to see you guys back on Saturday after the game. Like, share, and follow.
That's right. Yep. Like, share, and subscribe, guys. We appreciate every single one of you in the chat. We try to get to as many comments as we can, but we do have some sort of structure that we're trying to go throughout the show. But thank you guys for commenting. Thank you guys who have liked, who have interacted with us throughout the show. And again, don't forget, be back tomorrow immediately following the Clemson game around 11:30 on this channel right here. All three of us will be there with a live reaction, and we look forward to seeing all you guys there. Thank you, guys.
Later, y'all.
Later.